Okay, cool. It works. Good. So, my apologies, sir, man. We have been for the last 47 minutes trying to go back and forth with the computer and OBS system. I'm not even going to give it an opportunity to disrupt the day. Um, but I do want to say thank you for joining us today. There's a lot of folks here in the chat that are excited to hear from you, hear your journey, as well as us having a discussion just about the community at large. For those of you that are not familiar with Simon Servida, man, you gotta get yourself up on Servida Music YouTube channel. This is someone that is very important to the community, someone that as a composer, as a producer, as a recording artist, as someone who gives you great reviews of plugins and different websites and things that you need to be into as a music producer. It is imperative that you bring this as a part of your watching repertoire, I could say. So
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And where are you joining us from, for those that don't know where you're based out of?
We are in Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada, man. What is it looking like right now in the middle?
It's all right. It's a little gloomy, but no. The snow's gone, so that's all I care about.
Okay, the snow's gone. Okay, I'm about to say, is that why the music, the music we hear out of sort of the the Toronto area kind of has its own tinge, and it seems like it's a good, like it's like very influenced by the environment.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wonder about that, because I wonder about, like, Seattle, they see rain the majority of the year. That's got to have an effect on your mood. I spent 6 days there, 3 or 4 days there during the tour, and man, I can't imagine the kind of music I would make in that environment, because it was so gloomy. It was so sticky.
It's lo-fi, raining lo-fi all day.
Yes, definitely lo-fi playlist going on in that environment. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I tried to give a quick little introduction, but could you please explain to us, let us know who you are and what it is that you represent for those that are maybe experiencing you for the first time?
Okay, what's up? My name is Simon Servida. My YouTube channel is Servida Music. I only post YouTube tutorials and beat making videos pretty much over the past year, trying to get into more singing, rapping, songwriting, and then kind of just, just doing whatever I feel like musically. So it's really all over the place, but that's kind of just how I like doing things.
I feel like that's kind of it. That's kind of our generation, is that we have that opportunity to be all over the place, and really there's not judgment there. You can kind of go where you want to go. Because even as I had an opportunity to listen to some of the music that you're doing, and I'm like, have you been an artist as long as you've been a producer, or is that
no, not even? We're still fresh into that world.
Ridiculous. So as I'm listening to the music, I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds like a seasoned artist. How much do you feel like your experience as a music producer has helped you in this transition to an artist?
It's hard to say. Just like, if you're just around music all the time, that's all it is. Like, I just listen to a lot of music, so you just know how the cadence is going, and the raps and the flows, and just doing whatever you like. And then just being able to do everything myself, there's just so much control where, I'm just sitting in front of my computer. I know exactly what I want to do with that.
Right. And so you kind of present yourself as not just a music producer, but as a composer. What really is the origin story when it comes to you, when it comes in that regard? I mean, did you have a background more so as a composer first, or was that something that kind of went hand in hand with your foray into music production?
I started playing piano when I was 7. Then I kind of quit that. And then in high school, I just randomly downloaded FL Studio, just out of sheer boredom. Just like, well, what the hell is this? Okay, let's just start clicking. Then that was just amazing. So and then maybe like near the end of high school, I went to university for composition, and then because just making beats doesn't seem like as professional, just like in the eyes of like of the general public, compared to like a composer. I was going to go into film scoring, which I also really love, but I tried doing a little bit of like the film scoring stuff. I did like a couple of student films, a couple of short films, like after I graduated, and just the money there it's ridiculously small, and like it's small to nothing. So then we're like, okay, let's.
Yeah.
Just the way films are made, like post production, that's gonna be music. That's the final step in the puzzle.
Right.
And the budget, and these film composers, like the filmmakers, they're never on budget. So when they get to you, there's nothing. There's which is.
Yeah. So that being said, I mean, it would kind of give the obvious answer why, you know, this kind of I don't know what you want to call it, but the fact that you said it was kind of like I'm just try it out. Let me just see what this FL Studio thing is about. How did the transition work? Or what was better question? What was that moment that you said, there might be something here, and I definitely need to pursue this more and really dive deeper? Was there a moment, or was there sort of momentum that you built towards it?
It's more of, like, I always liked it as a hobby, but you know, you never know when you're gonna turn that hobby into like a passion. Like I always like playing like basketball and squash. I didn't want to go to the NBA. It's just more like, what do I not want to do? And then when I first started going to university, I was doing like science and chemistry and just a bunch of stupid subjects that make me just wince right now. But it's like, just knowing what you don't like can kind of just, you know, just focus in on stuff that you do like to do. And then I like my music enough to think like, okay, I think we can make this work.
That's dope. That's dope. And so as a producer, what do the years look like, or were there years of separation between when you first began really kind of creating beats and composing music and the YouTube channel? Was there sort of a block of time that was dedicated to kind of being offline, or was that a conscious decision that as I'm learning this, I'm going to?
It was definitely it was a conscious decision. Like I never thought about it, because we'll say for the first 5 years when it was the hobby. Beat making was a hobby. That was you know, maybe one beat every 2 months. Just, you know, I go, oh, I'm kind of bored today. Let's just pick up FL Studio. And then when I got into the film scoring thing, I wanted to just, you know, pursue that. And that has little relevance to YouTube, because people don't want having your film out on the internet and stuff. So then that's really more in-person contact. So then once I just dropped that, I'm kind of just saying I'm like in a hiatus for that, I guess, because I want to do that eventually. But beat making and YouTube they go pretty well together. So then once I wanted to pursue beat making, seems like YouTube is a really good option.
Yeah, and I told you off of the interview, I was like, you got some of the best thumbnails in the game, man. Some of the most colorful and effective thumbnails. And I think a lot of people kind of missed the mark because they don't realize the significance of, one, branding, and being able to brand yourself as somebody that no matter what tutorial you're looking up, yours ends up being within that first, 5 to 7 videos and makes you want to click. And I think that instantly, it's just from what I've seen is that your thumbnails make it a very engaging process, and it makes people want to click on your videos, as opposed to somebody else who's looking very serious at you and they're like 808 slides. And then, but you kind of like, you bring people into that. How far along were you within YouTube before you decided, okay, I need to show that part of my personality, or was that something that you did from the jump?
I definitely did it from the jump. Before I even started my YouTube channel, because I used to work, after I graduated, I worked part-time at my mom's firm, and that was like a really easy job. So during that time, I was planning, like meticulously planning how I was going to make this YouTube channel. And then I was using, like everybody else's YouTube channel in the community as like a reference. So I want my editing to be like Kyle Beats. I want to have Curtis King's personality. I want the cleanliness of Pat Ryan's videos. So we're kind of just, it was really thought out. So when I started, like I should have, it was already close. There's been like minor changes here and there to the videos I have now, but it wasn't like far away path.
And for those that don't know, this gentleman is sitting on about 180,000 subscribers. 180,000 subscribers. And it's funny because I talked to somebody one time and they tried to convince me that they were like, you only have this amount, 100,000 subscribers. I think it was like 70,000 to 80,000 at the time. They were like, you have a small channel. And I'm like, I don't think you really realize in the scope of it, maybe compared to your favorite YouTuber or vlogger that has 15 million subscribers, it may feel like it's a small feat. But that's, I mean, you know, first of all, congratulations on pulling so many people together within the community and having such a section that ties into you. You going from that strategic standpoint and saying, okay, I want to kind of combine some of the things that have worked for other people. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are doing that. What do you think the separating factor was for you that made people say, no, I like what he's doing? And what do you think that sort of unique proposition was for them?
I think it's just the content in its, you know, in its most basic form. Because I do feel like I'm giving valuable knowledge. I'm telling people, I'm spilling out basically like my university education to some of these things. And then, you know, just bringing up that personality factor. So just like you, even though you're not in the mood to watch a tutorial, you'll just watch me because you like me. So then there's also that factor of just retaining in just viewership. And I think that's what helped you the most.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've even noticed as well, is that you have a unique ability, and I got to give you a heads up. I don't know if I have a social media sort of a timer that goes off. So if there's an if there's a situation where I go pause for a second, that means that I had to give myself more time on social media today. But aside from that, man, I think that's something that I've even noticed, is that from the jump, you're all smiles with your audience, which I think is very important to bringing people into your world. You're not hesitant to show a sense of humor, which for a lot of producers, that's a very difficult thing to do, to show those parts of their sense of humor and to show their personality. You know, that definitely was a separating factor. So I'm glad that you took that on. Knowing what you know now, obviously we go through a lot of things that we learn along our way as YouTubers and as producers. What are some things that maybe you can help a producer who wants to get into that? What are some things that you did in the beginning that you feel like, man, had I known what I know now, I wouldn't have done? Or what was unnecessary, I should say?
I don't know. Because for me, I've been pretty spoiled. Like it's been a pretty good journey for me. If you guys are starting for the beginning though, like 2019, you got to show your face as a producer now. There's no, you're not getting anywhere if you don't show your face anymore. Personality is producing. They're kind of starting to come together now, because if we get back to versatility, if we're all doing the same beats, then like what's distinguishing us from each other? It's the brand. So
absolutely.
Yeah, show your face.
Matter of fact, let me go ahead and right now make sure. I had to go ahead and
I can't hear you again. I know. Not. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Oh my gosh, what a Monday this is.
Oh, the phone too, Curtis? Really?
Oh, really? At some point, I gotta just point the finger at me, because it can't always be the technology. At some point, it's gotta be me. Oh my gosh, man! OBS, the computer, and now, can you guys hear me now? Somebody said we can't hear you, but I know there's a delay in the chat sometimes.
I think we're good. We're good.
We're good. Oh my gosh! If this is any kind of idea what my beats may sound like today, I may just not produce anything today. So today that I say, let me shut off all the lights and stuff in here, all the pretty lights, and let's just go sit down and be on timeout for the rest of the day. But yeah, so you're saying there's really nothing that you I mean, you kind of had it good in terms of strategizing and bringing things together on your channel. So what advice would you give to someone who's like, all right, you're right, I gotta show my face, I gotta do this. It's a very difficult thing for me because I'm maybe an introvert. What advice would you give to someone who is just now getting ready to start their YouTube channel and get on that journey?
Show your face is probably the biggest one, but you gotta put in like a lot of effort into it. We can't really half-ass it anymore, especially
Yeah.
like if you're just doing that type beat on YouTube, like I guess you can just have the visualizer, but you gotta have the nice editing and stuff because just the community is moving forward really quickly, and there's a lot of YouTubers doing this now, so the competition's getting a bit high.
Right.
So if you want it, you gotta work for it, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work out for you because the community is really strong.
Absolutely, getting stronger by the day, and what I'm so excited about is how excited people are. What's going on? Oh gosh, my boy,
Hey.
oh gosh, man. You know, I know you covered his drums in some videos and whatnot. And the thing that I like, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying because we get people who are so passionate about what we do that they will spam your account until you figure out, go watch my favorite YouTuber or collab with them, and that can be a really weird space. But I'll say this: when I made a video about the top 5 YouTube channels that I think everyone should check out, there was a lot of people who came in and they were definitely caping for you. They were like, look, no, man, look, this list is not a list unless Simon Servida is on this list. Stop playing with me. And like, you're getting angry at me. And I'm like, these are channels that I was actually watching. And what's dope is that this gave me an opportunity to not only watch other channels and engage, because really you were put on my radar by, oh gosh, initially you were put on my radar by him, and he was the one that showed me, you know, some of the videos that you had up. And then from the top 5, and even from the fact that you're engaging, I think that's awesome. I think that you being someone that is sitting on 180,000 subscribers, more subscribers than I got, is someone who still sees a significance in showing face, being in the chats, leaving comments. How important do you think that is, maybe longer down the line, for producers when they actually find the success that we're talking about? How important is it for them to stay within the conversation of the community?
I don't know about like that all that stuff, but man, I owe you guys everything. Like you're the reason I get to, you know, have an interview with Curtis King on a damn Monday morning. Like just regular. I should be in office right now, but you know, just because I'm just so fortunate, so I have to like keep interacting.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man, and so glad that you have found your own nicheness, and that the fact that people are coming to you, it makes me feel like when I see YouTubers like you, it makes me feel like there's certain things I don't have to do because the community is taken care of. I think the worst thing is when I got into it sometimes, or not even sometimes, when I first got into making tutorials, there was sort of like the BusyWorks beats who I could rely upon, but there was a lot of bad tutorials out there. A lot of stuff out there where I was just like, yeah, that's a way to do it, but that's not necessarily like, yeah, but you don't want to go there and try to be that guy in the comments, right? The sort of know-it-all. But we know that energy exists out there. That kind of leads me to another question, because I want to now start to get into some of the politics of the community. How do you deal? I mean, obviously you get a lot of love, a lot of positivity. How do you deal, or what is your perspective on the people that come from a different space, especially because you're a composer, you're somebody that obviously knows your music theory, and you're doing tutorials and you're in a teacher space? There's obviously people with those profiles with no pictures, with no videos, who leave the most hateful comments. How do you sort of interact with that, and what is your philosophy in dealing with that kind of energy?
When people there's like different kind of haters though. So by the way, if you guys are showing your face, there's like a risk reward kind of thing. Like the reward is they might like you as a more personal connection, but it's easier to hate you as well. That's why, you know, just doing visualizers, that's a safe route. But you know, you gotta go big down here. So in terms of the haters, if they kind of just say like stupid shit like, oh, this beat is trash. It's like, okay, whatever, because you know, not everyone's gonna like your music, so like we gotta pass on that. But then there's like really stupid comments where they're just saying like, oh, all you do is like click your MIDI into your keyboard. No one does hi hats like that. I'm a real drummer. I do my hi hats in like 16th notes, and it's
Wow.
I just hate like elitism like that. I just
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that like stupid stuff like really irks me. Just like making like really generalized statements and stuff.
Yeah.
So how do I respond? I usually respond back. I get petty. I don't really care about it, but I like getting petty with them. What do I usually? Yeah, it's like you gotta.
How about this one? How about when someone finds that button and they pushed it, right? They got that person that they I don't know how they know it, but there's certain trolls that have a superpower that if they used it for right, they would do some good things in this world, but they don't use it for right. And a lot of folks come in there and they'll find that thing that you're most it's almost like a kid. A kid knows what you're most insecure about. I don't know why. Yeah. But that person that like gets you and they know what they don't, it's almost like they watch the videos in which you talk about your weaknesses and they find a way how to kind of like pound that over the head. You know, is it something, do you have sort of the approach that's like, I'm going to give you that same energy back, or do you just kind of ignore it, or what do you do with those types?
Those types, sometimes like if they really get to me, they just get deleted. That's it. Like just looking at it, I can't just ruin my day. So you just gotta delete that off the face of the earth, and that's it. But you know, I'm never actually gonna be like an asshole back to people. Like if just people say stupid comments, I'll just say stupid comments back to them. That's about it. Yeah. But you know, that's just the internet. It's like such a essential part of YouTube now. There's nothing to address.
It wouldn't be the same without it, because I know in the very beginning I was not used to people being able to say whatever they want to say, especially because I was brought up, you know, in a generation where you could not say what you want to say and no repercussions happen at all from it. So to see that, you know, was a bit of a, I had to do a lot of growing, because when I saw it, I wanted to clap back at any and everybody who had anything to say, especially on MySpace. Let it be on MySpace. Let somebody say something crazy, and then, you know, but I guess you start to learn other people's philosophies, and that's why I asked that question, because certain people feel like, you know, I don't need to respond to that kind of stuff. I'm on a different level. I'm going to a different place. Cool. But it's still there. And I feel like we make these channels our home in a certain way, right? Design it the way you like. You put the kind of aesthetics visually that you want to put, and it becomes your home. In the same way that I designed this studio, I would not want somebody coming in here and just whipping paint all on the walls, right? You wouldn't want somebody that's whipping paint, especially if it's not a paint that goes with what's going on in here. I would not want that. And so I feel it's the same way, as that somebody is coming in and they feel like, oh, because it's public, I have the right to say what the hell I want to say. And in a lot of ways, it's true, but I go the same route, is that I do a lot of deleting. So amongst the many funny characters and many odd characters that are out there in the community, because we love them all, they're all part of the community, you have those who are sort of, I call them the chicken littles. They're afraid of everything. Okay. Everything that is happening, it terrifies them. Oh my God, this beat store had some issues. Oh my God, the beats are not selling anymore. Oh my God, the beat selling market is going out of business. All these things, they kind of listen to all these influencers who are sharing their opinion, and they get scared and terrified. One thing that I continue to hear about, and I would love to get your perspective because you have it from a unique point of view, AI technology. Right, there's a lot of AI technology, specifically in the music software area, that has been developed, that has the ability of, you know, creating music for you. It has the ability to you know, like a scaler, has the ability to kind of really show you chord progressions without even knowing music theory. What is the other one that I saw? I just saw a review of it on Av McCree. It basically generates melodies for you. Do you fear AI technology replacing music producers?
No, don't really care about it.
Why is that? Why do you say that? Why
okay, well, for me personally, well, you know, there's people, obviously the people that are probably worried about it are the ones where, you know, the journey is the destination. But you know, the process of beat making is like that's the most fun for me. And in my YouTube videos, I try to make the beat making like the most fun. Just you know, just seeing me get inspired and just having like those little melodies that come in my head. That's like that's what I find like the most interesting. You know, and then product could be good too, but it's the art of it. So like I'm not worried about it because yeah, it's just I feel like it doesn't concern me.
Yeah, I feel like if more producers had your energy, they would have a happier life. They would have a happier and a more fulfilled life and not worry about every single thing that is going on. I made a video about it this week that's coming out. But that's the thing about it is that a lot of folks, man, they hear one person's opinion and they sort of base their entire emotions and they put so much invested into it without doing research. Because I think what inspired the conversation as of late was Warner Brothers signed an algorithm, okay? Or they employed an algorithm that has the ability to make 15 instrumental albums, you know, in one city, right? They just auto-generate based upon moods. And my argument is always that, well, there's always someone who has to program that music into it, right? And there's always somebody who has their own preference and their own perspective in music. I can pull up 3 or 4 YouTubers right now that have 4 different perspectives on how to slide an 808. The variables are ridiculous. So to even have that fear that, oh my God, this robot is going to replace me. They actually hit me with that, and I was like, you know what? If you fear this, you're going to be the first one that gets replaced. If this indeed happens, that mentality of being reactionary to everything instead of always evolving with what's going on and finding what I said, if you're fearful of it, figure out a way to teach it to somebody else.
I'm just thinking like 2 years down the road, I'm gonna just start seeing robot type beat. Feel like damn robot in the thumbnail.
No, the funny thing is, and the robots know how to promote type beats better than the human beings. That's gonna be hilarious.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like human nature, like whatever we're gonna just make something the opposite of that, just because like, well, fuck you, robot. Like I don't care what you do.
Facts. I feel like that's the fun in being a human being is that no matter what's created, there's always another variable. There's always like I look at, especially when it comes to, because I mean, even when I see you making music, I'm seeing you play a lot of stuff live. I'm seeing you grooving with the music. I'm seeing you sing with the music, and I'm seeing that you're leaving space for human error that's going to happen when you're playing live. And because of that, a computer can emulate human error based upon, you know, maybe a combination of different songs and styles, but it's just so many variables to where I think at the end of the day, human beings, they are inspired by other human beings, and they pretty much want to see you do what you're doing. And you know, unless the computer can show face, show me personality, has a Curtis King personality algorithm, a Simon Servida algorithm for personality, is going to be a very challenging thing for them to do. But yes, rest assured, producers. I mean, look, this is someone who's very influential in the community saying the same exact thing, that there's nothing to worry about with that. What is your perspective when it comes to using, you know, plugins such as a scaler? Do you feel like it's cheating? Do you feel like that's not the way somebody should learn music theory? What is your thoughts?
Scalar specifically, they I think Plugin Boutique contacted me. They wanted me to showcase their plugin,
right?
And I declined because just in the narrative of my YouTube channel, I haven't taught my subscribers about chords yet, and I didn't want to hit them with Scalar because it's like giving somebody a calculator when they don't know like mental math. I don't like. So personally, I don't use it just because I don't need it, but
right.
But I use,
well, I was saying in terms of you. I know that I'm going to cut you off. I wasn't saying in terms of for you. I was saying more so, how do you feel that? What is your perspective on tools like that for producers that are kind of like they're kind of changing the way that producers are learning music theory, right? If they're even learning it through that.
Yeah, as long as they learn it. Like I use serum presets because I'm not great at synthesis,
yeah.
And I'm kind of just like. I'm like reverse engineering that to kind of figure out how to do it myself. So whatever works, man. Like I know how to do music theory, so it's never even like crossed my mind.
Right.
But I need help. I need help in other like other aspects of music. So I see where they're coming from.
So let me ask you a two-part question. One being, what do you feel like is your biggest strength within creating music, and what do you feel like is your biggest weakness?
My biggest strength is probably my creativity.
Creativity, okay.
My biggest weakness is
That's always
it's not like I don't feel like I have a weakness. It's just like what's the worst what's the worst out of those? Oh, my synthesis probably. Yeah, my sound design.
Sound design.
That needs work. But I'm doing it like my process as like an artist. I'm kind of doing it like a 2K play or something. I'm trying to just get all my stats up to 99 and then just have it like that. No, I don't really care about having a specific voice or anything like that. I just want to get good for the fun of it.
Right.
Which is
That's important. I had to go ahead and block somebody up out the chat. It's hard. So I'm talking to you and I'm seeing these words popping up and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh man. But yeah, that the internet will always internet. So what? And the reason I asked that question because I think a lot of producers, they see you as same thing with me. They see us all as sort of these they're always seeing our highlights. They're seeing our best lights. They're seeing our videos where we've got the lighting perfect, we got the cameras on point, and they're not realizing that we still have our things that we're still learning, still things that we're still trying to develop along the way to get to where we're at. What do you feel like you have the most fun when you're creating music? What is the most fun part of the process for you?
Definitely coming up with a concept before I make the song and just executing the concept really well.
So you build up a concept for, you're talking about for a song in particular. So you may have like a song like you had a song called Kerosene, correct?
Yeah.
So you build up this concept and then build the music after.
Not in that case. That was like a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I made a cowboy like a few months ago with my friend, and this is before Old Town Road, so we didn't even have like a cowboy beat record, and just having like just a concept and a mood that I have in my head, and just being able to put that on on music, and just not even we're starting like completely from zero, just really fun, just starting from scratch and just being to execute what you want to do. That's what really gets me happy as a musician.
That's dope, man.
Because you ever like when you start a music, do you ever have a melody in your head and you don't know how to put it down on the damn piano?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's similar to that. So I'm finally getting to that point where I can, I know exactly. I'm translating completely from my head onto the computer now.
Yeah, that I think for a lot of people, when you find tools that help you do that, like for instance, I had let me go ahead and do something with this comment right here. I had melodies in my head, and a friend of mine told me, he said, "Man, you ever heard of a program called Melodyne?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it." And he was like, "Hum your melodies into this program. It'll convert it into MIDI." And this was before I knew that FL Studio had the same thing. But he was like,
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, it'll convert it to MIDI, then import it into FL Studio, and then run whatever instruments you have on it. I think that's probably one of the most freeing things that a music producer can experience is when you have the ability to have this music in your head be played out. I hate to use the cliche, but hustle and flow. And he was like, I just got this beat inside my head, and I'm trying to get it out, and that feeling, they tried to capture it on film, and they did a pretty good job of it, but there's no feeling in the world to where you hear, it's not even so much as hearing the melody. Sometimes it's trying to figure out the groove and the swing and the timing of it, and figure out, okay, this is okay. Let me not make myself look crazy as I'm sitting there. And it's like that means nothing to anybody except for you, right? So I that is something that is, if anything, should encourage you to get into more music theory. It's that alone, to be able to bring those melodies to life. This is very important. So what do you have planned for the rest of the year? I know that you have sound kits on your website. I know that you have the beats on your website. What do you have planned for the rest of the year that you can share with us right now?
It's really just taking it one day at a time. Like what I said before, doing whatever I feel like. So I think I got an R&B song on the way. I want to do an electro swing song. I got a new drum. Yeah, it's just we just got just a list, big ass list of goals, and we're just checking shit off the list. That's about it. Make more YouTube videos. It's really simple. There's no like big end goal for me. This is kind of what I always wanted to do.
Right, right. So I think that people from what I deduce from just talking to you for this is the first time we're actually having a conversation aside from the errors that we've had before this the beginning of this hour. But this is our first conversation. So as I'm listening to you, I'm hearing that structure seems to be a priority. Even as you are approaching your YouTube channel, you were talking about how you kind of had a sort of a formula before you even jumped into it. You're talking about your song concepts. You're saying that you have concepts that you sort of build from that, and you get into that. How important is it for you to not have a strict schedule, but have something that lays out what you actually want to get done?
My schedule, my schedule is all over the place. Like my day-to-day schedule, that's terrible. But right now, it's pretty much a list that's just so big that I should be doing something every single day. So as long as I do something, then I'm like I don't feel guilty about it. But that's about it. So yeah. I like living like life really, just all over the place. Because that's honestly that really reflects my music. That's all over the place too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's part of the allure of why so many producers want to get into this, but they just that part about showing face is such a big issue for them that they don't get into that. But when you get into this, I think so many producers want to push their career to a point where they have nothing to worry about except for music. And they don't realize how much of a responsibility that becomes. Because when you literally can wake up and do anything and the variables are all over the place, like depending on your personality, that could be a dream or your biggest nightmare.
Yeah, and there's definitely like there's give and take. There's like a little internal battle that I have to go through every day. But like even on weekends too, I never felt guilty about not working on weekends. Until like
yeah, I'm definitely there with you. I felt guilty at SeaWorld. I was like, man, with my family. I was at SeaWorld.
I should be sampling this orca whale right now. What am I doing? Get out my head.
I was like, why he's flipping? I should be flipping some snare drums, but what am I doing here? Right. As I'm watching,
yeah.
I'm watching the orcas roll. I'm like, my hi-hat should be rolling right now. What is this right now? But yeah, that seems to be the nature of the business too. Do you find it's the same thing that you don't really have a check-in, check-out time? If you have customers that have needs and necessities, you got to show up.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, like I don't think I'm like vacation seems like a really like distance thing, but technically this is like way better than vacation anyway. So it's all good.
Definitely. So last few questions that I have for you. One being, are there any book suggestions that you have for the audience that is watching right now?
I don't read.
You said I don't read. Any audiobook suggestions?
I don't read.
YouTube I'm just playing. Any YouTuber suggestions that you have for them? Somebody they should go check out.
Ooh, definitely. Damn, I feel like if they know me, then they should like know the big guys too. But shout out to Cal Beats because he's definitely the one who gave me my first 1,000 subscribers. So I gotta get a shout with him. I think I got a place with him coming up soon actually.
Okay.
I helped produce one of his songs. A couple like the smaller YouTubers, Prod by Jack, Prod by Ocean, Lucian, that's a good one. Holy, Cal Stemberger. Like people don't realize I'm so deep within the community. Like,
yeah.
I watch like the reason my YouTube thing is so structured because I was watching that thing like crazy. I'm like a big ass fan as well.
You said a what now? I'm
like a huge fan of just the whole scene. Yeah. Like before I even started making the videos, like I was a massive fan.
Speaking of like massive contributions, I see something recently that you had on your Instagram was talking about you're like part of one of the biggest Instagram collaborations for music producers. How did that even come about, or
that was someone like shout out to Matty Beats. He added me to like this little group DM. So they were like, oh yeah, I'll just make a beat. Just for the sake of it, because it's a cool challenge. Getting like 13 producers on one, like, what do you have left? So I was like, I'll do the open hat thing, and just get out here pressing a button.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw people who were like adding like, all right, next person, your turn.
That's how we got space, or maybe if it was like an EDM track, but if we're just doing like a regular trap beat, we're like, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but that's really fun. Just
Yeah,
as the challenge.
How does someone even orchestrate like are you I don't want to give too much of the details. Obviously that's you guys' business, but how do you orchestrate that within a chat? Like if somebody wanted to do something like that, how do you literally say, I'm going to start it, I'm going to email this person, next person, and then you add this instrument, or do people kind of get their strengths?
Yeah, we gave ourselves the instrument part. So like at the jump, I was like, I want open. Give me these open hats right now. So then someone's like, okay, I'll take 808. So then eventually, like, we all assigned to a group, and then just someone started with the sample. And then once we had that, it's pretty easy. Just add your thing.
Man, well, super dope.
You want to get on the next one?
Huh?
Want to get on the next one?
Man, let me know. Let me know.
Okay.
I'm always. Who need a kick drum? Who needs one single kick drum? I got you. No, for real. Let me know. That'll be dope. I think things like that, they move around the community fast, and they show people just how accessible people are to one another. I think that's one thing that I do enjoy is that, I recently did an interview on Kyle Beats podcast, and just the fact that people are reaching, sort of sideways as opposed to reaching down and making people feel like I'm doing you a favor. I think that aspect of the community is something that I really enjoy, and I'm glad that there's a lot of people who have influence that are not using it to make people feel less than. And I gotta say, you're somebody that I never got those vibes from your videos, and I think that a lot of people, that's why they continue to come back, is that you make them feel like you guys can learn any of this stuff that I'm showing you. You can learn it because I'm showing you, as I'm learning new things, the process that it is. So I gotta say thank you for that, man, and thank you for what you contribute to this community, and thank you for this interview today, too, man. I know a lot of.
Thank you for having me. I'd love to get together with you.
Absolutely, we definitely got a plan to do that. We got to do something for the podcast specifically because that won't have any technical issues. That'll be good. I'm actually bringing the podcast back, and a few things are structurally changing. But I have one up now that I got a few different episodes that have been up, but I have not promoted. I like to see what the organic reach is on those. But so please tell the people where they can find you. What is your website and that good information?
Okay, my YouTube channel is Servida Music, SERVIDA Music. My Instagram is, I think if you just click my face, you can get that. My Twitter, Servida Music, and my website is Simon Servida. And yeah, that's about it.
So wait a minute. Last question. How did you get that name? Where did that name come from?
That's my name. That's
your name. I figured that. But people get confused because my name is not Curtis King. So let me disclose that name.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, just like projecting for the future. Like I do want to get back to film scoring stuff, like I said before. So if I'm gonna win a Grammy, I don't want to have like a producer name, like winner for best score, like S-Rack money, come up to the stage. It's like, no, let's keep it normal.
Yeah, no, I always thought about that, especially when it comes to when you start doing more corporate events or events that you're going to have your logo sitting up there amongst the Apples or the Microsoft or whoever's up there. You don't want to be that one guy that has a logo that was like, did you go to Fiverr for that? Like, you want to make sure that your name and that everything is fitting that. I got to say, your brand top to bottom is as lax as you are about the process, it's professionalism top to bottom. So
thank you.
Gotta say that, man. Well, thank you for joining me today, man. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. I'll be putting this up on the YouTube channel for those that have missed it here on the Instagram. Thank you once again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. All right. Peace.
Peace.